Recently we have discussed about the Azure load balancers and the types. Now here we are going to configure our internet facing load balancer into our Azure. So for that, let us move to our portal here. So for creating our load balancers, I'll be moving into my load balancers here. And here I'm going to create my new load balancer called as NLB1, load balancer 1. Okay, I'm going to create an internet facing load balancer. So already we have discussed about internal load balancer and internet facing load balancer. Your internal will work within your network and your virtual machines, while the public or internet facing will work on your public, so that from your end users, any of the cloud users can easily connect to this particular load balancer. So for that, I'll be creating a new public IP address, or if you have existing one, you can use it. So I have this free public IP, and here I'm going to use the existing resource group, that is RG1, and the location should be same as your virtual machine you have created. So the location of my virtual machines are Central India. So I'll take Central India and I'll create it. Okay, it's a public IP. I haven't used it. Okay, so I'll be using NLB1. So whichever the public IP is free, I have just used it. And one more thing you always need to remember whenever you are creating virtual machines for your load balancers, ensure that all the virtual machines are in same availability group. So my three of the virtual machines that are web servers are into same availability group. So I'll move into my LB, that is load balancers. And here we have created the first load balancer. We have front-end IP address, that is a public IP which we have added. If you want to add more public IP address to this load balancer, you can. Same way, I'm going to move and add the backend pools here. So in backend pools, we are going to add the machines. So this is a pool of machine which we are going to add it. So I'm just going to name it as VMs availability set. So it is asking you which availability set do you require. There is AS1, that is availability set 1, which contains 3 machines, while AS2 contain 1 machine. I'm going to use availability set 3, and here I need to add the target machine. So these are the 3 machines we have. So which should be your targeted machine always. So this is my main server. I'll be targeting to web server 1. And you can configure the IP address for this machine as well. So this is the 10.0.0.1 I'll be using. Once you have done with it, you can add the second target as well. But right now I require only one target to be created. Click on OK. And you can see it is saving your load balancer backend pool. So once it is updated, you will be able to see your virtual machines over here. And the virtual machines which you have added in one of your load balancer, you won't be able to connect these virtual machines to other load balancers. So once the load balancer is created, it is a kind of group you have created. So just have a look on it. You can see this is a VMs, which is a backend pool which we have created, and these are the machines which we have. You get complete information over here. That means you have already created a backend pool. You can check the health of your machines. You can add a health check for your load balancers which you have created. Health check 1. Okay, you can create a health check for your HTTP or your TCP if you require. I can click on OK. So it will probe for the health of your virtual machines. Like if suppose my web server 1, which is a targeted machine, fails, or if it is going on maintenance, so the second machines, that is my web server 2, will be deploying the services along with my web server 3. So this is how generally we can create load balancer, where we can define the front end, back end, and we can define the health web probes. Also, we can create your load balancing rules, where we can add the rule for our machines who will be able to connect and which particular backend pool should be connected. For example, I'm going to create my rule 1 of this front end IP. We have only one front end IP as of now, and this is the port from where we are going to connect. Backend pool will be only this. So you can also create multiple backend pools. So which backend pool you want to define, and which for rule which you are creating, you will be creating for which backend pool you can define over here. And health check probe, again we have only one, we will be using this one. Same session persistence for any client API, or you need to define any client protocol, you can define that. And once you have done with that, you can also check for floating IP direct server returns. I don't know, don't require any floating IP as of now because I haven't connected any database to it. And click on OK. So this will be saving our rule which we have created. Same way we can also create an inbound rules. This where the load balancing rule from which particular port we can define the or deploy the services we have defined, and what will be the client protocol or IP it is going to check. Same way you can also check or create an inbound rule separately for your load balancer. So you can add it. Once this balancing rules is updated, you will be able to add my internet or your NAT rules as well. So inbound NAT rules you can add for the internal users. You can see it is a front-end IP address, IP version 6, associated with your complete set of VM of your availability set, and target virtual machine you can define. So here you can secure your load balancer from your internet rules as well. And also you can define the targeted rules. You can create your health probes which will automatically probe the health of your machines and the web servers. And this is the backend pools. You can add more backend pools over here and the more front-end IP addresses. So once you create more front-end IP address and you want to define more backend pools, you can also link up your different backend pools with the front-end IP addresses, or you can define multiple front-end IP for a same backend rule. So this is what we have seen about your load balancer. This is how we can create a load balancers of your virtual machines where generally we are deploying the application or your web services.